Praise the Lord, everyone. Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Alicia, the Preacha. This video here, it may be emotional. The point of it is, I'm at the point where I need to identify and deal with all my bad. You know, there's more to process, obviously, because I'm still losing everything. You know, my husband left me 5 years ago, and I'm still losing. You know what I mean? I'm still losing. Now, that don't mean that I haven't gained anything. I'm not saying that I haven't gained anything, okay? I know I have my life, health, and strength, and, you know, I have a family and a home and things like that. I get that part. But it's the things that you lose that you can't get back. There are some things that you lose and you can't get back. Or sometimes there's things that never can really get off the ground. And that's what my struggle is. Every time I try to put my hand to something, it doesn't last. It falls apart, you know. And I know that nothing lasts forever. I get that part. I know. But one thing that I can't seem to obtain is a sense of home. It may be because this place is not my home. But I've purchased so many houses in my past. I've purchased at least. In my first marriage, I purchased one home. We had one home in that marriage. But that second marriage of 25 years, we purchased so many houses. At least 6 that I can think of off the top of my head. You know what I mean? So, but even though I've purchased in my lifetime probably about up to 10 homes, to this day, I feel homeless. I have quote unquote owned homes with my husband's and still felt homeless. Yeah, I had a roof over my head and was laying in his bed, but I always knew that was just temporary. There was always other women, there was always interference. And then the second marriage was just completely taken over by everybody else. Everybody else had access to my second marriage, them and their mama. My second marriage was like a open, it was just open for any and everybody. And so I'm still going through tower moments and losses. Of things that either never really got off the ground or, you know, just not gonna happen at all. And even though I've had two marriages and a few other meaningful relationships along the way, and I was legally married for 32 years, I've never felt loved. Yeah, I've had men have sex with me without feeling valued in marriage. I was married 32 years and always been cheated on. I was never the only one, ever. So I've never felt valued or sacred or special or after 32 years. And that's my life. And I don't see it happening in the future. So I'm one of many, many people on this earth who have had lots and lots of relationships, whether, personal, business, whatever. And it's just all been a process. To me, the whole experience is a matter of just, I'm not saying just as in low weight, but it's a matter of trusting God. I don't think, well, for me, this hasn't been a pleasurable experience. My life, it hasn't been pleasurable. I was an abused child, an abused wife, and now I'm alone. I don't have parents backing me up. I don't have any siblings backing me up. No friends. It's just me and my kids. And I have two daughters, and those relationships are deeply impacted by the 32 years of marriage. And even though I'm here for them, and I don't intend to stop, it's just that I know the marriages, those 32 years, took a toll on the relationships that I have with my daughters, which in turn takes a toll on the relationship that I have with my grandchildren too. And there's nothing I can do about it but just endure what we have. Endure it. What's left of what we have. And I had to fight for this little bit. It's not the highest quality mother-daughter relationships out there. Because again, I was a silly, foolish woman married to creeps for 32 years. The kind of creeps that were abusive, cheating. One even stole my daughter's girlfriend. And to this day, helps her and talk to her. Well, I'm glad he don't have anything to do with us because, he don't need to. But I'm just saying the extent of betrayal that is experienced is the point. So, after 32 years of marriage, just being treated like somebody that just needs to cook and clean and shut up somewhere, I'm done. I'm retired from relationships like that. In the future, I'll probably find friends and hang out. You know, I can probably only go maybe another year or two without friends. It's been about 2 to 3 where I just kind of put it all down. About 2 to 3 years. So maybe about a year or two, I'll be ready to get back out there and at least have people to hang out with. I don't need to be married to nobody, having sex with nobody, pursuing people. I don't, for whatever reason, my communication skills suck. They suck. And I don't know how to get through to people. And people don't know how to get through to me. So I'm just at that place where I'm not effective anymore. Um, I'm just viewed as old, black, ugly, unwanted, deserved to be left and abandoned because my years of service are expired. You know, my use of wife and mother is expired and I'm no more useful. My kids do what they want now, which they should. They should. So I'm not that useful to my kids, and my because I'm not the parents of my grandkids, they have their own parents. I can only be so involved. And being divorced and not willing to get back out there because it's just too painful. The cheating, the lying, I don't want to go through that no more. I'm tired. That's what makes me look old, ugly, and unwanted. Just tired from being cheated on, tired for being left for other women. I don't have the energy. And I know my kids, my daughters, they can only have so much respect, just a little. I didn't give them a lot of room to respect me much. When you stay in bad marriages for 32 years, it comes back to bite you in the butt. Even if you, wash, cook, clean, got the kids back to school, send them to college, it don't matter what your accomplishments were. I have a lot of accomplishments. I've done a lot of good stuff. Don't matter now. Don't matter. The husband left, the kids are grown, and I didn't allow those accomplishments to multiply into anything greater than being a wife and mother. And because wife and motherhood, it's not that it ever really go away, but it just doesn't require much from you anymore. And once it doesn't require much, then people just throw you away. They start, talking to you any kind of way and doing you any kind of way. Once you get a certain age and point in your life. I just have to accept all this loss. I have to accept that I don't have partners anymore and don't want any. Now, do I miss being in relationships and stuff, the good parts? Yeah, I miss the good parts. Who don't miss the good parts of relationships? But in my case, the bad parts outweighed the good parts. Outweighed it a lot to the point where I can't even afford to spare another tear. I can't afford to spare another moment of my time being cheated on at the risk of losing everything again. Because after I recover from here, which, I'm just going through a little transition right now. I got to go ahead and get ready and be prepared in about a year's time for that last alimony payment. And it could be less than a year. I don't know. I got to go check the date. But at the end of the day, either I'm going to sink or swim. Either I'm going to figure out how to work and make enough money to provide for myself some kind of way, or I'm going to swim. That is the swimming. Anyway, I'm either going to sink or swim. I'm either going to do great and figure this out or just die. There's no in between. Yeah. Yeah. Only God knows. Only God knows. You may look at me and say, girl, you about to sink. You about to be dead. And some of you guys look at me, it's like, you're going to be fine. I have no idea. No idea, guys. But either way, it's going to happen. Either I'm going to sink or swim. Right now, I'm sinking. I'm sinking. I haven't learned to swim. Even in real life, I'm not a swimmer. Even though I'm always in the hot tub and playing in water, I don't know how to swim. Even though I was married for 32 years and raised kids, doesn't mean I was good. Just because I did it, don't mean it was right. Just because I did it, don't mean it was valued. Just because I did it, the 32 years, wife and mother, don't mean it was appreciated, or it may not mean anything to nobody but me. I may have went through all of that in my life. And it may not mean anything to nobody but me. My whole entire life don't mean anything to anybody but me. Any and everybody else but me can just leave, change their mind. And that's fine. I'm glad I at least want me. I want me, guys. I don't know if I'll be able to sink or swim, but right now I'm trying to swim. I'm trying to swim. I'm trying to be independent. But because I'm not, I don't have any respect from anybody. No one respects me because I'm not independent. So I'm alone until I can become independent, make enough money to pay my own bills, which I've never had to do in my life. I've never had to in my entire life. And I know it's funny, and I know people laughing at me, and they're waiting on me to fail and die with nothing. I know. I know. Well, it may happen. I might be lucky. All I know is that I did my best. I tried to follow most of the rules of life and do the right thing. But sometimes doing the right thing don't matter to nobody but you. So I don't regret doing what I believe is right. If I end up homeless because I'm looking out for my kids, giving them what I have because they're innocent, and even if they don't know how to value what I leave them and end up losing it too, I still did what I was supposed to do. I take pride, even though I'm crying and in pain. I know I did what I was supposed to do. I know I obeyed God as best as I could on this earth. And I know I failed everybody. Somehow, some way, I failed everybody. I did. Cooking, cleaning, taking kids to school, making sure your husband has everything he needs, and you know, don't matter to nobody but me. Because all these people that I served are gone, and they don't even feel my love. I have given everything I have to my husband and children and grandchildren. I've given them everything I have, and they're all gone pretty much, you know, and none of them feel my love, acknowledge me the way that I deserve it, though, you know what I mean? Based on what I put in, based on what I put in. I'm not getting it back, y'all. Not out of this life. And it has to be my fault some kind of way. Because my exes, they're happy and I don't know how happy people are, you know, I'm just saying. They're married, they rich. They're rich, they married, they moved on. Left me with kids and grandkids and a bunch of burdens that I can't afford. And I know some people may have compassion for me, and then there's other people that's just simply laughing. I've heard the laughters, I've seen the laughters. I've had to deal with these sugar babies and brie babies and all these other hoes. I've had to deal with all of them. They just steal from me and keep it moving. And it's my fault. My fault.